Hi everyone, this is the first problem of our additional practice problems. I'm going to go through each one of these and have a video for each, so you can check your answers and work your way through these practice problems so you have good notes and hopefully can make sense of this stuff. As always, feel free to ask questions during our Zoom sessions or office hours whenever you have time. So for the first problem, we've got a home plate shaped shape here. That's the proper dimensions. If you're a baseball fan, these are the proper dimensions of a home plate, and we're going to find the centroid of home plate. So for the first part, it's the bottom rectangle right here, and so we went through and we found the area, which was 8.5 was the height, 17 was the base, so 8.5 by 17 gives you 144.5 inches squared. The x centroid or x bar of just the bottom rectangle. Now I'm going to always, as I usually do, use that bottom left corner as my base point. Remember, you have to do that for complex shapes. So for the bottom rectangle, my x bar is just base divided by 2, which is 17 divided by 2 gives me 8.5. For y bar, it's height divided by 2. My height is 8.5. And again, since I'm just referencing this point here, the base of this is right along my 0 point, so I don't have to add or subtract anything. So it's just 17 divided by 2 for my x and 8.5 divided by 2 for my y, so y gives me 4.25. Okay, so the first part's pretty simple. Now the top portions get a little bit trickier just because we have to take into account their absolute location, kind of like we always do. So let me just try to get both within the screen here as best I can. So we're looking at the top left triangle here. Now for a triangle, remember our centroid equation is base divided by 3 and height divided by 3. So keep that in the back of your head as I go through this. I kind of kept my work to a minimum here just to fit it on the page, but we can answer questions later if we need. So area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2. So I have 8.5 as my base for the left triangle, 8.5 as my height for the left triangle. And so 8.5 times 8.5 divided by 2 gives me 36.125. Excuse my messy writing here. 36.125 inches squared. Okay, so now we go into our x bar, our x centroid location. So the first thing we have to look at is where on a triangle, these are right triangles, and where is my right angle? My right angle is over here. So I'm going to have to start at this point, and then I'll go back this way whenever I'm doing my x location on this right triangle. So x divided by 3. So I'm starting, if this is my 0 point up here, I'm starting out at 8.5, and then I'm going to subtract my centroid location. So I have 8.5 minus, and then it's base divided by 3. So I have 8.5 divided by 3. So 8.5 minus 8.5 divided by 3. Make sure you're doing order of operations here. So 8.5 divided by 3 should be done first, and then you take 8.5 minus whatever that answer is, and you end up with 5.667. Okay, so again, starting at the 0 point, I'm working my way out, and then to find my centroid, I go back right here. So it's 8.5 minus my centroid location. For y, same concept. I'm starting way up here, so I'm starting up from my 0 point, up 8.5, and then I'm going to go up further to get to my centroid location, which should be somewhere right in there. Okay, so I'd have 8.5 plus 8.5 divided by 3 at this point, because again, height divided by 3. So I'm going up 8.5 and then adding my centroid location. So 8.5 plus 8.5 divided by 3 gives me a centroid of 11.33, or 11.3 repeating, or however you want to say that. Okay, so that's my top left triangle. Now my image is going to go away here, but we're going to talk about the top right triangle. Same concept, except now we're over here, so we're going to be going from this point here over for my x centroid, and then it'll be up again for my y. So my y centroid will actually be the exact same my x centroid will just be a little bit different. So this time, instead of subtracting my x centroid, so my area is the same, so I can just copy my area down because it's the same size triangle. For my x centroid, I'm going to take 8.5 plus 8.5 divided by 3 this time, and that'll give me that 11.33. My y centroid is the same. So I have my rectangle, I've got my triangle, and I've got my other triangle. So now I can do the entire shape. So how do I do that again? Okay, I showed how to do the x. I didn't show the work for the y, but it's the same concept. Okay, so again, it's the sum of my centroids times the areas divided by the sum of the areas. So I'll take for my rectangle up here, it's kind of off my screen. Let's see if I can fit it on here. Okay, area is 144.5, x centroid is 8.5, so I did 8.5 times 144.5 x bar times area plus excuse me, plus my 5.66 or 5.667, whatever you want to write, times 36.125 plus 11.33 times 36.125, because again I just went to my x bar, my x bar, my x bar times my area, my area, my area, and then I took all of that divided by my area plus my area plus my area. And so when again, you just got to be careful when you're plugging things into your calculator, multiplying things through. Just make sure you do everything in order. If I were doing this just to write this out again, I would probably write, what's this product? What's this product? What's this product? And then add those products together and then divide it by your 216.75. So this area right here would just be adding our areas together, so that gives you your bottom number. So that's your 216.75, and then when you figure out this whole equation here, your x bar is equal to 8.5, your y bar is equal to 6.61, which again, you would just do this exact same process, but you would use all of your y bars in place of your x bars. So that would be the first problem. We'll be moving on to the second one in our next video.